side. Even if, for example, you were to consider the lives of these two people on either side of the war in question to be somehow equal, somehow comparable, which is also a totally anti-Torah approach. Since when are Jews and non-Jews equal in that sense? Since when are the interests of the Jewish people no more important than the interests of other groups or other nations or other organizations? Just to quote one example, there's a famous halakha in the Talmud, which is quoted in all the poskim, that if a Jew and a non-Jew come before a court and they have a monetary dispute, dinei mamonoth, a Jewish court, then the court, if this court were to follow halakha, it would work out to the benefit of the non-Jew in this particular monetary dispute. But if they were to follow non-Jewish legal practices and concepts, it would work out to the benefit of the Jew. Then they tell the non-Jew, we will judge this case according to your laws, not according to our laws. And if it works out the other way, then they work according to the halachic system. In other words, clear preferential treatment is given to the Jew as opposed to the non-Jew. There's also the well-known fact that the Torah itself speaks about returning a lost object to one's brother, achicha, which refers to a fellow Jew. There is no requirement to return a lost object to a non-Jew. To people who were brought up and have accepted as obvious that all human beings are equal and all have equal rights and no one should be preferred in any way or discriminated against as compared to someone else, no matter what, then this is a very difficult halakha to accept. But the fact is the Torah is full of such halachot, many, many halachot. In fact, in that book that I quoted from earlier, I have a whole article quoting many, many such examples. But we can't go into that now. All I can tell you now that's relevant to our discussion is that Rav Kook, in a famous letter, the first volume of Igrot Raya, I think it's on page 119, he explains the rationale behind this halakha of not returning a lost object to a non-Jew. He says the Torah here is making a value judgment. The Torah is assuming that if this piece, this property, this money, this object is going to remain in the hands of the Jew who found it, taking the long view, looking at the big picture, it will work out better for humanity and the world when this property is in the hand of that Jew than if it's in the hand of the non-Jew. He'll probably do something more positive with it than the non-Jew. You, of course, could claim that's only true in some cases, not true in all cases, but that's the assumption, that's the chazakah that the Torah is working with. That if it's money that's in dispute, the same is true for this example we mentioned about a Jew and a non-Jew coming to before a Beit Din and saying we have a monetary dispute. We use whatever system will be to the advantage of the Jew because we assume that it's better in general terms, looking at what's better for humankind in general, that this money which is in dispute it will be in the hands of the Jew rather than in the hands of the non-Jew. That's not in any way that does not imply that it is mutar to steal from a non-Jew. But here we're not a question of stealing. It's not a question of breaking into someone's home at night and stealing some money from his purse. We're talking about something which left his reshut, it fell out of his pocket on the street, and he walked off, he didn't know about it. In terms of whose property is it, that's really unclear. Who claims it? Who says it belongs to him now? He doesn't even know he lost it. It's not his. It's no longer his. It's on the street. It's for all to take. The Torah is mahmir and says if it belongs to your fellow Jew, your brother, then you have to try and return it to him. But that's a chidush. That's already going beyond the call of duty. But with regard to a non-Jew, that's not required. So says Rav Kook. So the problem is the assumption of moral equivalence, that all people, all societies, all religions, all cultures, all civilizations are equal. You cannot make a value judgment as to one being better or preferable to the other. That is the mantra in the Western world, has been for a long time. It's not always true that everyone who even states or chants the mantra actually believes it, but that's what you're supposed to believe. That's PC. But that's not the Jewish position. The Jewish position is that the interests of the Jewish people, for example, even when it comes to the Jewish individual, it's even more so. It's kal v'chomer when it comes to the Jewish nation. But even in the case of the Jewish individual as opposed to a non-Jewish individual, when we can alter the result by showing some preference to the Jew as opposed to the non-Jew, we do so. How much more so when we're talking about the benefit, the welfare, the survival of the Jewish people?